Hey, it's your pal Terry Bain, and I am back with another fun episode of Business Growth Time. With me today, as always, is the lovely, the talented, you know what? Probably the Pinterest maven, and you didn't even know she could handle that stuff. It is Janet E. Johnson, where today the E stands for existential.
Ooh, I think I have to look up that meaning of that word. I'm not sure.
hmm
Give me a meaning.
So it's got to do with the contemplation of existence.
Okay, now
All
you're
right.
using way big words.
I'm exceedingly smart today, Janet. I've been drinking my Arizona Energy tea.
Oh,
Not a
another E
sponsor.
word.
Yes, not a sponsor, but should be a sponsor. And it's giving me. It's like the ginkgo of Arizona drinks. I don't know if that's true, but whatever. Yes, contemplation, existence, existential. I've been listening to philosophers lately. I don't know why I got
Oh,
into.
okay,
I'm in a deep learning, machine learning, AI kind of space these days,
okay.
and so I had to go back thousands of years to figure out what learning really is. Fun stuff, though. But before we talk about learning, let's talk about this. 2019, you're going to talk about some marketing trends and you're going to make some predictions as to what's going to happen in our little marketing world this year. I can't wait.
And I can't wait to hear your feedback.
No, because I will have it.
I know, I know.
I'm probably going to call bullshit. Like I might just sit here and play devil's
Oh
advocate.
my
I
gosh,
figured it out.
you had to swear. No, I'm just kidding.
I did. It's the first time all year.
Yeah, exactly. All year. Yep. 2019. I know. Well, you know what? Let's quick review a few things in 2018, which is kind of fun.
Okay.
This isn't everything, but I think it's fun to look back at what all happened in the social media world. And obviously, this list could go on forever. But stories really grew. So Instagram stories, Facebook stories, they really grabbed hold and became really popular.
As a
Live
result, we
video,
don't hear much about Snapchat, at
no,
least.
no,
Right? They
exactly.
kind
The
of, I don't know if
Instagram story.
Snap's still around or what the story is with that, or maybe the kids finally got it back. But Instagram and Facebook kind of squelched that for at least people like our age.
Yep. And we'll talk more about stories with the 2019 stuff too. You're exactly right though. Live video actually had a lot of Social Media Examiner put out there that they were pulling back on some of their longer format live videos, and it just isn't quite as popular as it had been. So that's one thing. I think it's still there. It's just not quite as hot as it used to be, and they made the algorithm changes on Facebook to not give it as much prevalence as they used to too. So that hurt, I think, the live video situation.
I think the
Facebook,
attention span is what changed in a lot of ways,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
both those things that Stelzner and this group pulled out were, like you said, long form, right?
yep,
I think a live video, 2 or 3 minutes, still has some power to it. But if you're going to get into 15 or 30 minutes, and I mean, let's be honest, the Blab was super cool when we were doing that and people could hop in and hop out. But the idea was maybe they'll just watch the recording. Listen, if I'm not going to sit down at 8 p.m. and watch Modern Family or whatever show I happen to like,
yep.
because I'm going to DVR it, why in the heck am I going to jump into your social media feed when you're ready? I'm going to do it when I'm ready.
Yeah, and that's the thing why YouTube is more the winner for the longer format. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Because people go to YouTube specifically to watch videos. And that's where they're trying to compete with that with Facebook Watch. So that's another thing that has grown in popularity. Is it YouTube level yet? No, but it was launched and has grown in popularity too. The other biggie, Terry knows, is LinkedIn, who finally came around and launched video for posts.
So that's
Wasn't
not
long enough.
not fair, not fair. You and I talked about LinkedIn video, and we have a show on it from like September 2017.
Yep.
So they did it before 18 happened, but holy cow, did it take hold? I'm watching people get 2, 3, 4, 5,000 views if they're not that good at video, right? People that are really hitting the game and knocking it out of the park, 20, 50, 100,000 views without thinking about it. There are people in LinkedIn that are everyday folks that have crossed 1 million followers. on LinkedIn.
Gee,
Not Richard Branson, just normal Terry Bean
wow.
type Janity Johnson people.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, and I don't do the tagging thing like other people do. And we'll talk more about video too, and about for 2019. But bottom line is, I still get more organic than any of the other platforms with LinkedIn. So it's not going to last forever, but for now, it's great. So that's a big thing, and I think it's if you're B2B, it makes sense to focus there.
For sure.
Instagram launched IGTV. Oh man, the verdict's still out on that one. Verdict is definitely still out on that one.
I haven't used it at all.
You know, people just, I don't know. Nobody's really grasping hold on that. So it's, Instagram's gonna try to really integrate it more into the main platform as much as they possibly can, but still has not grabbed hold. So that's something to think about. Launched on Instagram even more deeply, where you can really shop deep on Instagram, and that helps e-commerce stores. Facebook ads still continued to grow and really, really expanded with Instagram ads. Now, Instagram ads had happened before 2018, but they've been adding multiple places within Instagram that you can push out to, and it's really helped the Facebook ad platform. Google Plus, we are going to be having the death.
Womp, womp.
Yep. So that's another announcement in 2018. And then let's end with the bad news, and then we're going to get into the 2019. But honestly, this to me was the hardest year I've ever had in social media, with all the Cambridge Analytica and the GDPR. It was a lot of rules and regulations, and it just changed. It made just doing social media used to be a lot more just fun, creative, and now it's really moved to a lot of rules, analytics. It's different than it used to be. Let's put it that way. So that was kind of a tougher thing to happen this year, and I hope we're past that stage, but I doubt we are. I think there's going to be other things in the future that will happen too.
Can't wait. Woo-hoo. Fake news.
Yeah. So another one is, this leads into 2019, number one, influencer marketing. Now that really took off in 2018. And I personally, now Terry and I were talking about this, I personally do believe it will continue to grow in 2019. But let me put a but there. I think it is going to grow, and it is going to be more of the niche. The influencer marketing is not going to always be the big company or the big following of millions of followers. I think some of the smaller following is where companies are going to go after. The girl next door, the person next door that doesn't have to have that million followers, I think is where it's going to go.
I would agree with that. So they actually call that micro-influencers.
I couldn't come up with the term in my head at the moment. Thank you. Micro-influencers. Yep.
And I think that's probably going to be prominent, because the reality is you start looking at somebody like, let's call it Will Smith or Will.i.am or Willie Nelson, or will you come up with another one? It's expensive, right?
The price, the price.
And it's hard to track, is the reality, right? Attribution is a real difficult problem, and a real problem in marketing. So if you're spending $1 million to have Will Smith talk about your soap, right, or your Gillette razor, it's kind of difficult to say, is this really working? But when you can dole that $1 million out to 85,000 people, it's a little different story at $1,200 increments, right? You can get a lot more reach for your money, and I think the aggregate of that network actually works. So I see that happening up until the economy collapses, in which case ain't nobody spending money on your dumbass talking about anything. So,
I think companies are doing an interesting twist on things, and I'm not so sure about it, but I've been asked multiple times recently to be an influencer, and I only have 4,000 following. Now I'm definitely a micro on Instagram, but some of those they'll in order for you to do it, they will give you a discount on their product, or they will hand you their product. And that you can get micro influencers by just giving your product to them.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot get the big influencers by handing your product. You need to pay.
That's why I wear this Vikings hat. They sent this to me and said, you know what? We think you should be the brand brand ambassador. That's not true. I made that a lie.
They're paying big bucks. So yeah, exactly. All right. So influencer marketing, we kind of agree and disagree on that. I mean, I think it will grow, but I think we agreed pretty much that it will be more maybe the micro influencer part of things. So
yeah, I agree.
All right, number 2. We have 6. Stories. Instagram and Facebook stories. Instagram specifically has grown in huge popularity. It is predicted that will surpass the feed, meaning you're going to end up with much more engagement from your stories over what you post in your Instagram feed. I do believe that. I believe that will happen. I've seen it already kind of go that direction with a lot of my clients. So I think Instagram stories will grow even more. And I think that's the area that people really need to start getting creative on how to convert to something, teach about a blog post, teach about whatever you're selling at that point, and just get really creative with Instagram stories. Facebook stories, and then I'm going to see what your opinion is. That actually only used to be, for me, marketers. Every time I'd look at the Facebook stories, I'd be like, it's just a bunch of marketers. Nobody grabbed hold of Facebook stories. But finally, because of advertising, because they put them on the pages, I believe they even have them in groups now or with events, it's growing quite a bit too. So I think Facebook stories will continue to grow also. And then there's LinkedIn and YouTube stories now. So I have no idea. I'd love to hear what your feedback would be on the LinkedIn stories, and if you think you're ever going to use that, Terry.
I didn't know there was LinkedIn stories, so there's my answer for that. So sometimes I look at a Facebook story or an Instagram story, and here's what I know. I don't get it. I don't necessarily care. I don't necessarily like it. I think your mileage will vary. I've actually done some Instagram stories, and it's crickets, right? Nobody's paying attention to me. Now, granted, I look like this, so that makes it a little difficult for me to do stories. I get that. But sometimes I share some information that may be relevant to you and your business, but the only downside of my fabulous non-iPhone little mobile device is the fact that it doesn't have a really cool app like Clips, where as I speak, it has voice to text and transcribes right into the video. That app right there makes me almost think about getting an iPhone. And I know that video stories with text, so people can, almost like closed caption for the hearing impaired, can read along with what you're saying, and they don't have to have the volume on.
Yeah.
That's a game changer.
It helps, but that's more even for the feed. You can do Instagram stories. There's ways to be really creative with Instagram stories. And I think some of the most creative are getting the most conversion. And I just did a recent blog post on janetjohnson.com talking all about Instagram stories advertising. And that is one of my favorite right now, where I have documentation. We've paid the least cost for email list building. I had 60% conversion rate on webinars versus the normal 20% just by doing a 15-second video, and then they can swipe up. So you can get that swipe up feature if you do ads. And so I walk step by step in this blog post how to do ads. So that swipe up feature is a big plus, but you need 10,000 followers or you have to do ads. And speaking of, I got to take a picture of us. Ready?
Am I ready?
Live. That's funny. Be prepared here, Terry. Wait, we need it this way. There we go. I need this down. See, there's my Instagram story. See, I got to do it.
Am I doing this wrong? I can't tell. Oh, yeah. Sorry for you people that are listening. It's very funny for those watching. It's not true either.
All right.
I'm like
so
a liar
we
today.
got to do stories. If you are avid Instagram person and really want to grow your Instagram, make sure you're doing stories. There's my advice.
All right. I want to grow my Instagram. I'm going to do, how many stories do I got to do? I got to do one every day?
Yeah, I would do at least one a day. And you
Does
can
it
do
have to be
multiple days.
video?
You can do multiple a day. You can do them in a sequence too. So that's another thing. I've taught Instagram stories, so we could do a whole podcast on just ideas for Instagram stories, because there's a lot. I mean, there's even just the words, or just doing a fun boomerang, or so it's behind the scenes. You want to think about what you're doing behind the scenes, and just quick. You've been interviewing a bunch of people for your company, so you could have done, behind the scenes of the Instagram stories.
Oh man, and the people would just love that.
Hey, it's showing what you're doing behind the scenes. That's what people do like to see.
All right, we'll make sure that happens. Good. All right, what's the next statement or prediction?
Authenticity is the next one. So it's always been this way for a couple of years, and I do think that it's going to grow as much, if not more, where your videos don't have to be perfect. The stories show authenticity. They show your authentic side. They show the behind the scenes. You can introduce your team, develop your own lingo, and there's lots of things with being authentic and just showing your true self. And if you're a team of people, the authenticity comes in using the team members instead of just hiding behind the company.
You know what? I couldn't agree more. I don't know that this is a 2019 thing. I mean, we've been talking about authenticity for 4 or 5 years. I mean, I started doing video. We talked about this the other day with a flip camera back in 2009,
Oh, yeah.
right? And so, and my argument was always, listen, immediacy trumps perfection every time, right? You're better off holding the camera in front of your face and talking and saying what you got to say than trying to get the gaffer and the key grip and the director and the cinematographer and, the makeup person and the hair person, for me especially, to set everything up for 3 weeks from now. Just get it out there. People want to see it and experience it. So, authenticity is an interesting piece. I've had some conversations recently with people talking about how they, almost killed themselves or tried to kill themselves, and, really, really dark, almost disturbing conversation, like 6 minutes into it. And it's like the level of self-disclosure is way too much,
Yeah.
way too fast. But, that's in the name of authenticity. And I'm like, I don't think you're doing this right.
No, I agree with you there. I think some things are better to stay private.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Like you're not relating to everybody by showing your sad story or
No.
pathetic life or whatever. And I don't mean to make little of it. People have tough times. I'm not trying to belittle anybody, but it happened like 3 calls in a week. And I'm like, is there a script going around? Or people just making this up? I don't get it. It's weird.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think I think my biggest point here is that using the perfect videos don't have to happen anymore. You can show off user generated content and so it makes it look much more authentic. It's more authentic. If you see somebody using your product, the average Joe down the road using the product, and you show that to people in your social media, they're much more likely to go, oh, that person uses it, well, so will I. So just be more authentic in that format than the perfection we used to have back in the day. And it's been a while, but I think trend is still going to continue.
I like the word relatable, right? I want it to be something that people can see themselves being a part of, right? I used to be a high touch fashion model, glamour person, catwalking, doing the whole thing.
Oh, you
But
did?
I had to stop doing that because I woke up, and then it was, a whole different world, right? We have to play to the real person, and I think that's
Yeah,
that relatability piece is key.
you got it. Yep. So trend number 4. I
Woo!
don't want to spend a ton of time on this because it's something that still people battle, but I guess it's kind of an interesting one. Messenger marketing still will continue to grow. It's very popular, 1.5 billion users right now. It will expand to more platforms than just Facebook. It is becoming more mainstream to use the messenger. And a lot of people are layering it on top of their email campaigns because of 90+% open rate. So messenger marketing, I do use it. I test it. I don't use it as much as my email marketing, but I dabble with it. It's something that people like and are also against. It's kind of one of those things that you need to test for your own business and see how it works.
I got a messenger marketing note from a Janet E. Johnson just yesterday. So it is proof that you do use it. I don't use it. I haven't used it. I shouldn't say that because for people that register for Motor City Connect meetings on the Facebook page or group,
Okay.
I will go through in private message each one of those who say they're interested or going to make them to remind them basically, right? And so there's no bot, it's a bean, it's not really a bot.
Yeah. Yep. So there's bots and then there's just using Messenger. So that's a really great way to use Messenger. You can also do Messenger. We run Messenger ads a lot where you want to inquire more, just message because it makes it easier. They don't have to go to a website, fill in a form, do anything like that. It just is very simple for people. So I think the overall Messenger marketing will definitely grow. Will that bot thing with ManyChat, or there's a few of them out there, I think it's going to get more regulated and more difficult to use it, but it's just like text marketing. People still do text marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think some
Okay.
will use it, some won't. I know a lot of the clients that I work with just aren't ready to go there. So I think it's just dependent on the person and if they're willing to try it. But I think it's a great thing, and you do get through to people.
They read it.
So, all right, so next one. Number 5. Okay, Facebook ads. I had to bring this up because this is, the area. So Facebook and Instagram ads will change. So here's the changes that I'm looking at will be happening in 2019. And this is from past and future. So Facebook, it will continue to be the most cost-effective marketing out there, continue to be the best targeting out there, and it will continue to grow in cost, meaning it will be getting a little more expensive. That's one of the things that will happen. And I do believe it's very safe for a few more years. People think, oh, is this going to go away? It will not. It's still the best option out there. Granted, it depends on your business too. Google's still great too, but it is the most cost-effective way to market. I believe it's safe because Instagram, they were smart on buying Instagram and implementing ads into Instagram platform. I do believe with Instagram, there's going to be more targeting options for Instagram ads. There will be more people will really catch on to the stories ads that I told you about. But right now, a lot of people don't know about it. So I would maybe take advantage of it. And then my big prediction is Instagram will become more of a pay to play and a lot less organic.
I can't imagine that any of those things are not true, especially more pay to play, right? So it seems to be the trend, right? They allow you to come in, dabble, give you some reach, then all of a sudden they throttle back that reach. Oh, you'd like that reach back? Here's our hand. Put some money in it. Oh, good. Look, you have your reach back. So they're that doesn't surprise me one iota.
Mm-hmm. And it's already kind of moved to that direction, but people with the hashtags, you can still get the reach, and manipulate it that way and get the organic. So it's a lot more organic reach than Facebook at this point. Facebook's like 95% pay to play at this point. Whereas Instagram, a lot of people get away with not outspending a dime still, but it's going to be tougher and tougher and tougher.
All right. Well, I get that. So That leads us to number 6.
Okay, well, this is my second favorite. Facebook ads is, well, I can't say which one. This is a tie
Oh,
for
it's
number
like
5.
having two different kids, Janet E. Johnson. You can't really pick a favorite, can you?
Exactly. So number 5 and 6 are like my two children. So I have to video will still dominate. Video is going to stick around. And let's talk about all the places. There's Facebook feed, there's Facebook stories, there's Facebook watch, there's Facebook live. There's Instagram feed, there's Instagram stories, there's Instagram live, there's IGTV, LinkedIn video, LinkedIn live, I believe, I've never used it, YouTube video, YouTube live. Pinterest just launched how directly uploading videos. They just launched that too. And then there's still the one that Terry brought up before, Snapchat.
The
So
snapper.
all of these are used in different ways. And I'm not telling people that they have to use all of these, but it just shows how big video still really is.
Video rules, dude. You know, I go back to that whole authenticity conversation, right? There is nothing more real, more like, who are you? What are you about? Am I going to like you? Than being able to watch somebody on video, right? I mean, you can fake some of it, but you can't fake all of it. It's real time. And that is powerful for us to be able to make a decision whether we like someone, whether they seem credible, whether they know what the hell they're talking about, whether they're going to be somebody that's even going to vibe with us. If I don't like their energy, I don't have to deal with any of that because I can see all of it before I even hook up
You
with them.
got it. You got it.
Powerful.
Yep. Yep, exactly. And we've talked about all the differences. There's so many differences with the different platforms. But I guess my opinion of it is what is your type of business and where are you focusing your time? Then focus your time posting the videos to those platforms.
Rock
LinkedIn
on.
has B2B. If you are B2B and you have not tested LinkedIn video, I highly suggest you do, as Terry talked about earlier. Facebook has always been a big push for me, but Facebook video, you need money behind it. Facebook's still really great for video. I'm doing a huge campaign for a friend of mine right now, and our goal is to collect video viewers so that we can do ads in front of them. And they don't offer that on LinkedIn, and that's where you lose. I mean, I wish I could have 1,000 organic and then be able to retarget those video viewers on LinkedIn. And I believe that's another 2019-20 prediction that will come about someday.
It's going to happen. They'll have LinkedIn Live at some point, and hopefully maybe I'll get LinkedIn stories. It was like that time that you didn't have Facebook memories
Well, I
for.
don't think I have LinkedIn stories. I know they're launching it, but I haven't seen that I have it.
Oh,
So
now
I
I
don't
feel
know.
better about myself. Thank you. You were really, I was doubting. I was a doubting Terry.
Well, yeah, you're right. I don't even want to go back to that.
Janet E. Johnson, everybody's talking about Facebook memories for 2 years. Kid didn't even have it.
That took a long time to get that one. Yeah. And there are things that are happening right now. I just wrote a blog post also about Facebook groups, and there's big changes coming to Facebook groups too.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
want to read that.
And I don't have that in my predictions, and that's just kind of an add-on. That will also become a little more of a pay-to-play eventually too. I don't believe that we'll get away with it as free. And I'd love to see ads where I can push out a post from a group and get more people into a group. I think that'd be great.
That would be useful.
So that will be coming. Lots of predictions, lots of things. Can you think of anything, Terry, off the top of your head that I may have missed?
I think LinkedIn will have live video coming up for sure. I'd be surprised if that didn't happen. They're also good, saying over and over and over again that they're going to get their groups stuff back front and center. LinkedIn groups fell off the face of the planet because they had it hidden for a long time, but they're going to try and update the engagement there. I would be on the lookout for a lot more niche everything, right? We no longer have to broadcast, we have to narrowcast, right? And I think that's going to be a continuing trend, that people are going to hone in on their target market deeper and tighter and tighter and deeper, because it doesn't matter anymore. There's so much shouting and so much screaming that if you're not just speaking to your ideal audience and dotting them between the eyes, they're not going to hear your message. The other two things are both in the mixed reality space, the things that you're going to be seeing, whether it's VR or AR. I think AR is going to start picking up again a
Okay.
little bit. And then AI is going to be huge, and how people are using artificial intelligence to do their marketing, whether it's A/B testing and split testing to be able to figure out what's going to work, or if it's actually going out and looking at the data sets and saying, I know you think that your target market's this 100,000 a year earner, but the reality is it's somebody that puts such a value on a premium product that they're willing to spend a larger percentage of their income. It's got nothing to do with what they earn. It's got to do with what they believe they want or deserve. Right. So I think that's going to be another big trend.
Cool. Yeah. And we should do a whole show on that possibly. Yeah. That's being that you're studying that. All right.
I'm
Well,
such a student.
so I want all of you who listened here to pick what your main focus is going to be. What trends are you going to grab hold of and take advantage of? Will it be learning these Facebook ads and Instagram ads finally? Will it be doing more stories? What is it going to be that you're really going to focus on? And I think make sure video is a part of whatever you're doing, no matter what. It's time to embrace video.
Embrace video. You know what, Janet E. Johnson? I'm going to make a video as soon as we're done here because I'm so inspired. I need to really embrace my video. Oh, wait. And I already did a story. I took a picture of us doing this. The first picture I took was perfect to you. You were totally blinking, looked like you were high as a kite.
Great.
Yeah. But you'll be happy I didn't share that one.
Oh, isn't that good? Well, I should tell you, before we hang up, I should check on what that picture is. That's funny.
Too late, doesn't matter.
Like a dark, yours is super dark, but that's okay.
That's
All right.
I'm tan.
All right. Well, thank you. Where can you find us? businessgrowthtime.xyz is our group. So join our group on Facebook. We also have businessgrowthtime.com/blog. And that's where you can go find all past episodes that talk a lot about different social media tips. And we've interviewed a lot of fantastic people to help you grow your business. So definitely take steps, take action, and grow that biz.
Cool. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.